Hi everyone, welcome to Art 387. We are Contemporary Visual Arts and Culture. I'd like to take a few minutes to go over the class. Each week I'm going to give you an announcement, like an agenda video for the beginning of each week of class, so make sure that you're watching these. I give lots of information that may be a little more detail on assignments, things you may not have been thinking about, feedback, all of those kind of things. So they are important that you watch. I can always tell when students don't watch them when they send me an email asking me a question of something that I addressed in the video. So I try to keep them relatively quick. The first couple are usually a bit longer just because, we're getting to know each other and getting to know how the class works. So just to give you a little bit about who I am, my name is Emily Boss. Here's a picture of me, put a face with a name. This picture's a few years old, but I don't look that different at this point. I was born and raised in Orange County. I went to Villa Park High School. I did my undergrad at Cal State Fullerton. Before that, I went to the Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising and did a degree in interior design, worked in the design industry for many years. And then after I did my undergrad, I got married in my senior year, and then a year and a half later, my husband and I moved to England, where I did my master's in art history with an emphasis in modern art and contemporary art. So that's really what I specialize in. And we had a great time, great adventure. Living abroad for a while, got to go to a lot of different countries. I went to the University of Nottingham, so we lived actually right across the street from the Sheriff of Nottingham for a while, which was really quite interesting. So lots of experience there. About 2 years ago, just shy of 2 years ago, we moved to Tennessee, so that's where we live now. This is myself and my husband Johnny, our 2 dogs, no children at this point. But we love living out here in Tennessee. It's very green right now. It's pouring rain. I'm sure you Californians are a little bit jealous of all the rain we get. But we love it. It's a great place to live. Let's see, I've been teaching for Cal Baptist for over 4 years now. I've developed all 3 of the art classes that we offer in the OPS program. So the art appreciation, this class, the contemporary visual arts and culture, as well as the basic drawing class. I love teaching here. I do miss teaching. I used to teach at Cal State Fullerton as well, my alma mater, before we moved to Nashville. And there I taught art appreciation, modern art, and writing for the visual arts. So I'm very passionate about art and art history. I think that it's, definitely a language that we all have to learn how to speak because we live in such a visual world, especially considering how social media works, all that stuff. We're just very visually driven. So we're going to learn this next 8 weeks how to speak this language and how to interpret artwork. And that's going to be our main objective for this course. So that's a little bit about myself. So before we jump into the course, I'd love for you to go in and post a discussion board on the introductions discussion board, and I'll show you where that is. If you go to the learning activities on this side of the menu, and if you go all the way to the bottom to discussion boards and pull this up, there's one called introductions. It's the very first forum. Just go ahead and click on it, and then you just have to hit create thread. And you can, write a little introduction about yourself to the class. Because we're an online class, we don't get to meet each other face to face, so it's just a little bit of a way to make the class a little more interactive, give us a little bit of a culture. So let's go ahead and take a look at the syllabus next. If you're new to online classes, make sure that you take some time to browse through Blackboard. Make sure you go to the student resources page and just get a gist for how all of this works. So here we are, we're the first summer session for 2016. Again, Art 387, Contemporary Visual Arts and Culture. So, contemporary visual arts and culture is a study of the causes and effects of the proliferation, which proliferation is just a big word for saying getting things out there really well and really fast and to a large degree, of new media in the 21st century Western culture. We're going to focus on Western culture in this class. So, visual media, like we just mentioned, is very prevalent in society. So this class explores postmodern theory, another big scary word, don't worry, we're going to dissect it, and a tactile or a hands-on approach to the elements that make up the visual world by exploring everything from advertising, television, film, digital image making, arts and crafts, social media, and both public and private spaces, because the way we create spaces is very visual, and there's a lot to be said about how we create them that says a lot about who we are. This course will consider the roles of consumers, which we all are, creators, which a lot of us can be, and critics, which we definitely all are, of visual culture while engaging with a Christian worldview of these cultural practices. So then this syllabus is going to talk about online learning, all that good stuff, so make sure you read through all of this. This is my contact information. This is my personal phone number. So remember that I am 2 hours ahead of you here in Nashville. So if you think you're calling me at 8 o'clock, you're really calling me at 10 o'clock. So just keep that in mind. Please use discretion. Really the best way to get a hold of me is through email. I've got my smartphone on me pretty much at all times. And, email, what I like about it is that it gives both of us a record of the conversation, where if we're talking on the phone, things can sometimes get lost in translation. If we have an email record, we can both go back and really make sure that we're interpreting things correctly. Since I'm not in California, I don't have an office at Cal Baptist, but if you wanted to schedule a time to talk, then we can do that. Required text and resources. Hopefully at this point you already have your textbooks. We dive right in week 1 and you do need them. So the first textbook is called Looking at Art. And this is your most expensive book. Art books are just expensive. I try to get the price down on them as much as I can and pick books that will work for us but that are not a little more inexpensive. This book we also use in the art appreciation course, and the reason I like this book is because it gives a little bit of that background vocabulary and just the way art works in general. Since we're an upper division class, but there's no prerequisites, I like to do this the first couple weeks. We kind of quickly build up this vocabulary so that we can then use it to interpret. And this is going to be the meat and potatoes of our course, this text, Visual Culture. This book's only about $25. I don't believe they've come out with a new edition since this 2011 edition, so if you can buy a used copy, go for it. Francis Schaeffer's Art in the Bible. This is what we use for our capstone project, so you don't technically need this till about week 7 of class, but you can definitely find used copies, although I think on Amazon it's only about $8. And then this is not something you have to buy. This is just an essay that we're going to be reading online, and there's a link to it. Okay, you can go through all the course outcomes on your own time and go through the assignment overview on your own time. This will just tell you in a nutshell what we're going to be doing. We have create assignments, we have written assignments, we have discussion boards and journals, and then we have quizzes each week. Sounds like a lot, and it is. We're 8 weeks, so we kind of jump in and get a lot done. But remember that each week of your learning activities, these items will all be gone through in a lot of detail. Okay, our assessment policy, remember that we are a plus-minus, we do plus-minus grading here at Cal Baptist, so that's very important to keep in mind. I will let you know now that if you are a student who is very, prevalent in class, you make your presence known, you complete every assignment, you don't leave anything out. If you're, say, at a 92.3%, I'm going to bump you up to an A. I'm not going to give you that A minus. However, if you were at, a 79.1%, but you've got like 4 or 5 assignments missing, I'm going to keep you right there at that C+. I'm not going to bump you up because you didn't show me the initiative that you really wanted to get things done in the class. So just keep that in mind, that I like to show grace, but I like to reward effort as well. Our course is out of 1,000 points, as all of our courses here at CBU in the ops department we try to be. Keep in mind that every once in a while, and I can't make any promises, I may be taking an assignment out here and there, just depending on how everything's going. So keep that in mind, that this number may slightly drop if that happens. Please be sure you're checking your grades early and often. I try to have everything back to you by Friday, so if everything is due on Sunday nights at midnight, which we'll talk about in a second, I try to have everything back to you by that following Friday, so you've got the weekend to kind of read any feedback and apply it to those assignments for the following week. So here's our course schedule. This is liable to change. It most likely won't. Please know that all of your assignments are due Sunday nights at midnight of the week that class is, unless otherwise stated, and I will state all of these in each week's learning activities. I'll be very clear about that. The only time this changes is during week 8. And I normally actually switch this to Friday. So week 8, your assignments, your capstone project, your final journal, and your final quiz are due on Friday at midnight, opposed to Sunday at midnight. And the reason for that is that our classes end on a Sunday at midnight, Monday at 4 p.m. Instructors have to submit final grades for you. So if you're all submitting your big capstone projects to me Sunday at midnight and then I have less than 24 hours to grade them, my head explodes. So it doesn't work very well. So that's why we want to make sure that we plan ahead. Week 7 is a little bit of a lighter week so that you have basically those 2 weeks to be working on your final project. So just be prepared for that. Don't come to me and, Sunday of week 8, oh my goodness, I didn't realize, can I not get a late penalty? And I'm going to say, sorry, I told you at the very beginning of the class. Okay, there's a section on professionalism. Remember, we are an upper division course. I expect you to write like you're in an upper division course. I did teach writing for the visual arts after all, so I tend to be a bit of a stickler in that area. This talks about regular effective contact. So we try our very best as instructors to get back to you within 24 hours of a phone call or an email. Now, I get a lot of emails from students. I also have an interior design business, so I'm constantly on, doing emails and just running around. If I don't get back to you within those 24 hours, please just send a follow-up email and say, hey, I'm not sure you saw my first email, and that way it'll trigger something and I'll make sure that I go back, because I'm human and things just happen and I miss them sometimes. We do our very best to get back to you on assignments in 72 hours for small assignments, and then in a week for major assignments, which are papers and all that kind of stuff. Again, I try to have everything back to you by Friday of each week. Okay, late assignments. Now, there is a deduction of 10% of the total point value for each day the assignment is late. So, make sure that you submit your work on time, and there's multiple reasons why I do this. One, it keeps you accountable. It keeps you on top of your work more, because that's an A to a B right there, one day late. So there's a lot of incentive for you to make sure you're getting your work in on time. Also, I find it very rude when students submit their work late and then expect me to get it graded right away, because now you're messing with my very busy schedule, and I have to now find extra time to grade your late work. So it's just not nice for me. It's not nice for you. It gets you behind, gets you stressed out. Don't do it. However, I understand that life happens. You guys have kids, you've got full-time jobs, you're taking multiple courses here. We get to have a lot of grace here at CBU in these online courses at our discretion. So this is how I work with my classes. As long as you email me before an assignment is late and let me know what is going on, most likely I will work out an extension with you. If you do not expect to have that 10% of each day the assignment is late penalty. Don't email me on a Tuesday and say, oh, I couldn't get my work in on Sunday night. Here it is. I'm going to say, well, guess what? You're still getting 20% off. It's to keep all of us accountable, okay? So that's how that works. I don't like to be the big, bad, mean ogre, but, I also want to keep you guys moving forward at a good pace in this class. Academic honesty, don't plagiarize. I do a lot of our written assignments are done through SafeAssign, which means it scans it for plagiarism. I've had students, believe it or not, copy and paste almost an entire paper from Wikipedia and think that I'm not going to catch it. Don't do it. It's not good for the university. It doesn't reflect well on you. It can have very serious consequences. You can fail an assignment to being kicked out of the class to being kicked out of the program. So let's just not go there, okay? Make sure that you're always citing anything that you take from other sources, which you're encouraged to take from other sources. If you have a disability, please make sure that you contact DSS and they can arrange appropriate accommodations for you in an anonymous fashion. So that is our syllabus. I will quickly show you how the learning activities work, and that's our overview for the course, and then I want you to move on to the week 1 agenda video. So if you click here on learning activities, you'll notice that the first thing is this writing styles presentation. Please watch this. Writing in the arts can be slightly different than writing in another area of study. So I want you to watch this. It's only, about 15 minutes. There you go. It's going to talk about how to cite sources, words that I think are not good to use in writing, where to get links for the Academic Resource Center, all of that good stuff. If you start doing a lot of the errors that I talk about in this, then I will make sure I write that in your feedback. I will keep saying refer back to the writing styles presentation, and if it keeps happening, then I'm going to mark you down more and more because I want you to be aware of this. Just take that 15 minutes and watch it, and we should be good to go. I have a link for the MLA and APA style guides. I don't care which one you use throughout this class, just pick one and be consistent throughout a paper. Don't switch back and forth from one to another in the same paper. MLA is usually what we use in the humanities. APA is more for the sciences, and I know a lot of you in public service type programs use APA formatting. If you're more comfortable with APA, go for it. I don't mind. I just like things to be formatted nicely. So each week you'll see that there's learning activities are divided up by the week. They're subtitled, and so it'll give you a little bit of an idea of what we're going to be doing. And then again, there's a link to the discussion boards at the bottom, but there also will be links to the discussion boards in each week. So that's the basic overview of our course. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. I will meet you over in the week 1 learning activities and the week 1 agenda video.